Obviously, been a ton of action and traction since our last episode with the Lillard trade happening. That means things are starting to open up as far as James Harden being able to go somewhere. There was a report that the Sixers felt that things were mended, and Harden showed up at camp, seemed to be locked in. But there are also reports that nothing had changed, and he still wants out. Then both Sam Amick and Shams reported that the Clippers have been talking to several teams about ways to move pick swaps for additional draft capital with the intention of bolstering their offer and getting a deal done. The Clippers offered the Sixers an unprotected first-round pick, a pick swap, and salaries for Harden in July. League sources say Philadelphia has set a much higher threshold. The Sixers have valued fifth-year forward Terrence Mann and multiple first-round picks and potential trade with the Clippers. Obviously, same thing as we knew back in July and June. Same thing here. But my question to you guys is, how much has Harden sped up the timeline on his trade by showing up and kind of not making things look uncomfortable as everyone thought there was going to be this dramatic display this week? That hasn't happened. I think he's running bleachers after practice today, so he looks like he's a guy who's ready to play this year and not trying to make anything dramatic. And how much longer do you see this whole thing lasting before a move is officially made?
Well, first off, I think if the parties are willing to get a deal, you can get it done within a week. That's if all the parties are willing to get it done. I think him showing up and then showing up, in shape and ready to play that's what people wanted to see. So it's not that anybody has leverage. It's just that, okay, well, he's ready to play. He just may not be ready to play for the Sixers, but he's ready to play. So that may change things. But I also think that he came to camp with the same demands that he still want to get traded. So if you're a Sixers, you're holding out hope that he comes in and say, okay, I'm just going to play this year out and we go on from there. I think when that didn't happen, it became, okay, then, we still have a great opportunity here. We got to figure out how to sustain some level of consistency in getting things done and trying to accomplish our goals. New coach, new system. It's no need to kind of bring a guy in that doesn't really want to be here. Let's get the group we're going to have and try to go from there. I think once he came and he didn't change that, he didn't change his plans. Like you have to, it's not that you're honoring his demand as much as you are moving on from a disgruntled player with a new system, new coach. And I just think if with Nurse there and James not really buying in, I think you go from where most people have you projected to be third seed, you're flirting with 5, 6, 7, in my opinion, if changes aren't made.
Yeah.
You mean if we keep a disgruntled James?
Yes. We're not a top 3 team like that. Not from talent wise, just from I don't see how it works. I mean, James is talented. I know James can put up numbers disgruntled. I know he can do that.
Yeah.
I just don't see the team having fun if one of your key players just aren't seeing eye to eye with the team.
Yeah. And the constant questions about it too. That's all they're going to hear about.
I just think that because you still have a guy that's playing for, at the end of the day, what they've basically said was, show us you deserve this money again. You already have another starter that you're saying the same thing. Show us. And you got a third young guy in the same situation. Show us. With a new coach, new system, and then and an MVP who's going to get all the touches. I mean, it could work, but I just think that like last year they were the third seed. I think they're capable of doing it, but it's also capable of going the other way, is what I'm saying.
So what's your timeline projection?
I think before the season starts, he has to be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would hope within a week. But I would hope within a week. But what's the date? The 6th? We got what? We 19 days or so before the first game. So just under 3 weeks.
24, 25th, something like that.
Yeah.
Or 20 days. I don't know if we did 25th or 26.
Under 3 weeks. Between 2 and 3 weeks.
Just under 3 weeks. So a team that's making a move are going to want to have him bring in before camp ends.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we kind of know it's the Clippers are there. I mean, I'm hearing rumors of Miami. I don't see that. I don't think he's the type of Miami guy.
Mm-hmm. That'd be pretty desperate. Miami would be desperate if they did that.
No, I mean, I think if there's a team that can kind of change the quote unquote narrative about James Harden, you would think the city of Miami can't, but you would think the Miami Heat organization can. You know what I'm saying? Like the narrative about James, not who James is. It's just how people think. As far as the off the court stuff. But it's a lot of guys that played in Miami. We never really hear about partying issues.
That's true.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? So from that perspective, it is sort of intriguing. It is sort of intriguing to have a guy like that in Miami with their rules and how they do things, and have been able for years to get guys to buy in. I mean, they have been able to do it.
Yeah.
But I still think the Clippers is probably the leader of the pack.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Miami will give the Sixers a Dame Lillard package. So, and I'm not sure the Sixers really want to send him to one of your competitors in the East is going to be fighting for one of those top 4 seeds with you.
Yep.
And in some ways, people will probably pick them in front of you. I mean, they just came off the finals.
Mm-hmm.
If we did that, if we sent him to Miami, would that say a lot about what we think he's capable of anymore? Because, I mean, you wouldn't send a player to a team. That's why no one ever sends players to their division rivals, because they don't want to get creamed by them. So if you're sending a guy,
you're right. I believe you're right, but it also depends on who you're getting back.
Yes, that's true. You want to weaken them.
Yes, but if you're getting a guy back that you think this is the dude we wanted, then you can do it. It's just usually not straight up. Usually it may be a 3-team trade or something like that. So I think when the Bucks traded Drew Holiday, I think they had to know that Portland wasn't going to keep Drew Holiday, and he just drafted the young fella. If you're trading Dame, you're not keeping Drew. So the odds of him coming back to a team that so if you're the Bucks, right, and you're trading for Dame, and you're sending them Drew Holiday, the most realistic trade that you would think that Portland would send Drew Holiday to would be Miami, the team that's been trying to get Dame Lillard.
Yeah.
That's the first team that would come to mind. Okay, that's the team that just put you out last year.
Yeah.
So you knew it could come back to hunt you.
That's a case of them just being so enamored with Lillard that they just didn't care what happens in the end. Like, wherever he goes, we got Dame, and we're okay with that. Like that's
I just think that they needed a more offensive guard.
Yeah,
I think they needed a more offensive guard. In my opinion, is what they were In my opinion, that's what they were looking for, with Giannis kind of being that guy. But if Giannis is not making his free throws or he's injured, can we have a guy that can win a series for us? Not just a game, a series.
Let me ask you, based on something you said earlier, because I get non-Sixer friends always texting me asking, like, what do you think about that? Why didn't you guys do this? Why didn't we just send James home, which is usually what happens before a trade's imminent? Why even have him there if, like, like you say, you don't want him to see too much. You don't think he should be there anyway past a certain point because it'll just be detrimental to our team. Why not just send him home? And now that we know he's in shape, all right, Clippers, you saw him. He's in shape. He looks good. Now we're going to send him home and you give us a good package.
The one thing I can say is I think sending him home is a contradiction to the new rules where he has to show up. You know what I'm saying? The big emphasis of him having to show up at camp and then for you to send him home is really a contradiction from that rule. Why are you so hard? Why are you putting in rules for the players to show up, for the team to tell them to go home?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they're still paying him.
I think it's some of that. Like if a team is telling the guy to come home, like technically you have to kind of give a reason why. Because if he says he wanted to trade, but he still showed up, what's your reason for telling him to go home?
A trade's imminent, and we don't want him to see our inner workings of our new team strategy.
Yeah, but most trades aren't imminent. You ain't not sending the guy home for days for a trade is imminent.
Yeah.
You hold a guy out if the trade is imminent, and until then, you can't send him home.
That's true.
You can probably hold him out of drills or certain things, but you can't just send him home.
I guess
like,
you have to wait.
You talking about it being really over. It's really over then.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. So which is like him being there and participating leaves open that hope of, man, this might go into the season and not just to go before camp's over.
Yes, but you have to prepare as if that happens.
Yeah.
Because the teams that you're speaking to can easily bow out. And then what are you going to do? Like you got to have a partner if you want to make a trade.
Mm-hmm.
So if they come and you say, for instance, they're talking to Clippers in Miami and they both say, well, you know what? We're not going to do anything. Then you're stuck until someone else comes along. So you can't have him at home and then all of a sudden it don't go through and then you be like, hey, you know what, James? Trade didn't come through. Come on back.
Yeah. I mean, which actually I think it has happened before. They're like, didn't happen. Like, all right, like report now. But like it can go both ways too, right? Because if I was the Clippers, I also wouldn't want to play. Harden's got a lot of friends on this team. He's got a lot of guys he's close to. Probably more guys on this team that he's close to than the Clippers, actually. So I wouldn't want to play around with Harden because Harden's made some emotional choices in the past few months. And he can make another one and be like, you know what? I like Bev. I like Tucker. I'm a fan of Embiid. I think we have a chance. I'll do it for one more year. It probably won't happen. I know. But would you want to play with that if you're the Clippers? Would you want to try to like test that? And for one day to be like, man, he's having a pretty good time over there. They look like they're gelling. He likes the assistant coaches. He's close with Rico. Maybe he like says, screw it. You know what? I'm already here. I'll just stick it out here for a year. Do you want to try that? So, I mean, as far
I think at the end of the day, I think it's all about his relationship with Morey. Is what's pushing this whole trade. And I think he said something that he don't want to go back on.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't.
So he goes back on that, then that's going to be the topic.
Yeah.
Well, the other side of that too is if we're like, you know what? Because I know a lot of people say wait till teams come out of the gate slow. They'll be a lot more desperate to trade. But what if the Clippers are not a bad team by any means? What if the Clippers come out of the gate and look pretty good? What if they're like, you know what?
Yeah, that's why I don't think it happens after the. That's why I think it happens before the season starts.
Before the season, because we don't want
to. From the Clipper standpoint, just from the Clipper standpoint, I don't think them having a good start would matter because the Clippers' biggest issues since Kawhi and Paul have been there has been injuries.
Availability, yeah.
Yes. So the talent's always been there. The team's always been good for as long as we can remember with those guys. It's just been about they win a playoff game or two, and then someone goes down and then they lose the series. Like that's happened how many times with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and Pompey did say a few other teams are interested as well, which could definitely force the Clippers' hand to maybe speed it up and up it. They're talking to other teams.
Yeah, I just can't see teams that him asking to go to the Clippers and him wanting to be with the Clippers, teams asking coming and trade for him. I just don't see it.
Yeah. But after
not right
games,
now. Not right now. Like not like at the beginning of the season. Maybe during the season, I can see more teams saying, you know what, let's go ahead and take this chance for the rest of the year.
Yes.
I just don't see it right now, teams doing that.
Yeah, preseason teams have, you
want to go with the squad that you have. Let's see what the squad's going to do. And then, like you said, yes, then teams may come and say, you know what, let's take a chance for the rest of the year. He's a free agent at the end of this year. Let's go ahead and pull the plug. But I just can't see it right now. I mean, Miami's different because Miami, lost some guys and they're waiting for Dame, and I think they could take a chance, especially for a year. So Miami, I think, is a team like the Clippers that can do it right now. That would do it right now.
Yeah, the Athletic actually released a projected trade if we don't work out a deal with the Clippers. It was Caleb Martin, Kyle Lowry, and like 2 first-round picks for James Harden. Would that do anything for you guys? No.
I still think
it's a good stopgap.
It's another team that probably get involved, though. I still think it's another team that gets involved.
You mean like in like a 3-team deal or like directly with us?
Yeah, I mean, is Kyle Lowry and Caleb Martin free agents?
I think Kyle
is, or at least Kyle Lowry. Is he one?
Yeah, I have no idea.
If he's not a free agent, you can't make that trade.
Yeah, because there's no way we can get rid of him at that point. Contract year, yes.
Yes. And you can
both of them?
He is. I don't think Martin's is that bad anyway, so I don't think that's really a big deal. We were willing to take on Mann for an extra year, so why not Martin at that point? Martin, 2 more years with $6 and $7 million. It's good. Yeah. It's a good deal. So yeah, that's not that. I mean,
you hear him say that's a good deal, man. That's a good deal. The Mister always in somebody's pocket. He's talking about something's a good deal.
I like 6 and 7. It's a player option for the second year though. So if he has a good year, he'd probably opt out. Then I wouldn't like. But either way, no, I don't think it's a bad deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad deal from a financial standpoint, but I don't know if it makes us better.
2 first-round picks, we'd probably flip for 1 or 2 of those anyway for someone else, though, right? We wouldn't even keep those, I would imagine.
I guess possible.
And by then, by 28, 29, if it's in the late 20s, then who knows? With Riley, Butler will be gone by then, and that might be a pretty good pick, actually. Obviously, I'd rather prefer the 27 and 29 firsts for the Clippers because they could be a very different situation than it is now.
Mm-hmm.
So those could be gold.
But if you guys had to put your money on where Harden will end up with, and you guys both think before the regular season starts he'll be on another squad?
I still say Clippers.
If I had to guess, I would say he would be, yeah.
I think we're willing to wait beyond the season, though.
Interesting.
Beyond the star. I think we waited this long.
Right, but I mean, all the stuff started to get drummed up again. I mean, it went dead for a little bit. Now it's starting to pick back up again, which I thought pretty interesting.
Clippers are probably hoping that Harden made it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's a reason why all of a sudden all these rumors start up the day he goes back and reports and is smiling with Bobby Jackson and Rico Hines, dude. You know what I mean? They show those clips and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, all right, let's start. All right, let's pick this up a little bit. Because they're messing around. It's like they're messing around over assets they're pretending to care a lot more about than they really care about. Like, come on, like you guys have had Terrence Mann as your 7th man for the past 4 years. Now all of a sudden he's the deal breaker to a Harden deal. Come on, man, like that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And in the last 2 days of Harden, today and yesterday, he's stuck around for like when the media time came in, when the guys are doing post-game shoot-around or post-practice shoot-around, he's stuck around. And apparently today he did a long workout with Maxey for like an hour.
That's cool.